My name is Karen Lynch Harley, and I'm a member of the HALIWA-SAPONI tribe. And I'm here today to talk to you about a book I wrote and illustrated called WASHAKIE, the Little Indian Boy. I did this book because I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could write a book and illustrate it. It's about a little boy who learns a lesson on respecting his elders. I used both present-day life with ancestral life to show the reader Native American people are still here and their culture still exists. The story is meant to show young children in a way they can understand the importance of listening to adults while teaching them a little information about Native American life and culture. I wrote the story first, and then I created the illustrations. I tried to make the story interesting and understandable to kids under the age of 10. My inspiration came from my grandson, of whom the story is written for. It's inspired by his vivid imagination that he has always had. He used to get in the car with me and say that I needed to drive faster because there was a bear behind us and that it was going to catch us unless we went faster. And I always kept going back to this thing with the bear, and so I try to incorporate it into this story. I've had good responses from the book. Several educators have used the story in their classroom, and them along with several parents have told me the favorite part for all the kids is the middle of the book where the little Indian boy is actually confronted by a mother bear after he came across her cubs. And so this page in particular is the page that most kids want to go to because they like to imitate what they think the bear sounded like when it growled at WASHAKIE. I found the book to be both fun and trying. The drawings came easy to me as an artist, as a visual artist, but the words were more challenging. I'm not a writer, but being able to tell a story using both illustrations and writing helped me grow as an artist. I hope to do more stories in the future, more children's stories in the future, because I think it's a good way to bring across ideas and lessons to children at a young age while giving them something fun and exciting to look at. I decided to do this book because I wanted to see if I could actually create a story that might be fun and worthwhile to young children. Illustrating the book I found to be a lot of fun for me, but yet the words, they were a little more challenging. It was hard for me to come up with words that would tell what I wanted to say. It was a lot harder for me to come up with words to say what I wanted to say than it was for me to come up with drawings that said what I wanted to say. And it was interesting to see it develop and to progress and to be able to come up with a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's a different kind of process than it is with drawing and painting. You have a beginning, you do it on you come up with an idea, you might do a few sketches, and then you start to draw it out, and then about midway you start putting the paint on and giving it bringing it to life, and then at the end you do the finishing touches and you put in the detail. And the written part of a story has the same kind of concept. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But for me anyway, it was a little more difficult to, okay, how do I want to start this story? Or how do you start a story to catch people's attention right at the beginning? And how do I go on past that and just have the story develop and still keep the interest of the reader, and then coming up with the end summarizing it and coming up with how the story ends. And is there room for a second story, or is this just the end? I wanted my story to just kind of teach a lesson. So it's not based on a series or anything, although I wouldn't mind possibly doing another book or two, just to try my hands at it. And it's not something that I think I would do a lot of. Somebody else was writing the story, but that's another whole thing, because then it becomes a little more difficult in being able to produce an illustration that someone else has in their mind of what it might look like. It's kind of like reading a book and then you go see the movie, and a lot of people don't think the movie was as good as the book, and some people think the book wasn't as good as the movie, because it all depends on which way you perceive things, however you feel the best way is to get what you want out of the book. I hope people enjoy it. The people that I know that have gotten the book so far have enjoyed it, and it's kind of a keepsake book that they could read over and over again and pass down to their children's children. So that's pretty much what I got out of it.